Welcome to the Gremlin Coaching Podcast and the new series Becoming a Man: Gender Attachment, Desire, and the Inheritance of Silence. I am Lara Fayed. Today, we'll talk about masculinity and femininity and how gender is not an idea, but rather an experience. When the children are born, one boy, one girl, nothing ideological exists yet. No politics, no theories, no expectations about masculinity or femininity. They are only bodies, breath, and nervous systems learning the rules of the world. In the first month of life, neither child knows they are a boy or a girl, but both are already learning something more fundamental. When I cry, when I move, when I reach, does the world respond? This question is not asked in words. It is asked in heart rate, muscle tone, breath, and gaze. The mother responds early, often, and with emotional coherence. When the baby cries, she leans in. Her face changes, her voice softens. She names sensations even before the child understands language. You hungry? That was loud, wasn't it? Oh, you tired? Psychologically, this does several things at once. It teaches both children that internal states are legible, that the stress does not overwhelm the caregiver, and that emotion moves toward relationship, not away from it. Bowlby would say the children are forming secure internal working models. When I signal, someone comes. When I feel, I am not alone. Winnicott would add that the mother is providing a holding environment, not just physically, but emotionally. The children's nervous systems learn to settle in connection. And this is not gendered yet. It is simply safety. The father's presence, physical proximity, and emotional opacity. The father is here. He is there. He feeds the baby. He changes diapers. He attends birthdays. He works hard, and he provides. But emotionally, he is harder to read. When the baby cries, he may freeze for a second too long. Not because he doesn't care, but because something in him tightens. He might say, "She's fine. She just needs to calm down. He's okay. Don't make a big deal." His voice is not harsh. It is flat. Containment without resonance. Psychologically, this communicates something very specific. Emotions are manageable but alone. Distress should be reduced, not explored. Intensity should be quieted, not met. And this is not cruelty. This is a man whose own early emotions were never safely received. So he withdraws, not in anger, but in silence. And when gender quietly enters, now something subtle begins to happen. The children do not yet think in categories, but they feel difference. The boy, when he looks at his father, senses, this is what men feel like inside. He feels safety, but no masculine echo, no sense of energy moving outward, no mirrored excitement, desire, or assertion. So the boy learns emotions are safe, but agency is quiet. Strength is stillness. The girl, when she looks at her father, senses something else. I am loved, but I am not fully seen. She feels cared for, protected, but not recognized as impactful. Her presence does not seem to stir him. Her aliveness does not meet response. So the girl learns, connection comes from care, but visibility is uncertain. Desire is ambiguous. Neither conclusion is conscious. Both are encoded somatically. Winnicott tells us, the child discovers who they are in the face of the other. When the mother mirrors emotion, vulnerability, responsiveness becomes solid ground. When the father does not mirror initiative, desire, liveliness becomes a question. For the boy, can I move outward and still be connected? For the girl, can I be seen without performing or disappearing? Gender begins here not as a role, but as a direction of uncertainty. Family coherence in psychological incompletion. This family is not broken. There is warmth, there is care, there is emotional intelligence, but there is an imbalance. The emotional world is rich. The relational world is safe. The symbolic masculinity as an initiative, desire, outward confidence is muted. So the family feels coherent but slightly still, loving but low in vitality. This is how incompletion hides inside goodness. So why community matters? Here's where the story does not have to become tragic. When children grow not only inside a small nuclear family, but within a living community, something essential happens. An uncle who laughs loudly and takes up space, a teacher who encourages risk and curiosity, a neighbor who repairs things with his hands, a coach who contains aggression without shaming it, a family friend who sees the girl clearly and respectfully. None of these people replace the parents, but together they complete the mirror. The boy sees masculinity that moves, initiates, desires, and stays connected. The girl experiences masculine presence that sees her without needing to possess or withdraw. Anthropologically, this is how humans evolved. Children were never meant to carry the entire symbolic weight of gender through two people alone. Community distributes what parents cannot hold. So gender identity does not begin as a belief. It begins as a felt orientation towards the world. When families are small and isolated, absence becomes destiny. When families are embedded in community, absence becomes one influential among many. When families are embedded in community, absence becomes one influence among many. This is how what is missing at home is not denied, but naturally repaired. Not through correction, not through blame, but through lived, repeated experience of difference, presence, and recognition. Gender, in the end, is not something children are told to become. It is something they discover themselves to be when the world around them is wide enough to answer back. Thank you for being here today and listening. Please subscribe to the Gremlin Coaching channel and get notification when each new episode of the series is posted. Please post down there all your questions and thoughts in the comment under the episode. I cannot wait to see you in my next episode. And in the meantime, take good care of yourself.